Hello, Wastelanders and Adventurers. I'm Caedogenesis. This is the PIPCAST 3000, a bi-weekly podcast where we talk about gaming news, gaming in general, and other things surrounding gaming, and usually have a dedicated Fallout or Bethesda-centric topic. I'm joined by my co-host, BADCOMPANYSARGE.
Hello there.
Hi. Did I say the podcast is every other Sunday, 10 a.m. Pacific? Did I say that yet?
You just said that now.
Now you all are on the same page as my brain. Sarge, it's a bit of a slow news situation.
Yeah, not too much happened.
You helped me find a couple more things to talk about. But our topic is going to be about another The Gamer article, because I know a select few of our listeners do enjoy those quite a bit, us just tearing into whoever wrote this. And this one that we're going to be critiquing is Fallout 4 15 things you can do before starting the main campaign. This is pretty low on the totem pole of effort, but it's just above the transformative threshold. So that's what we're doing this episode after we get through the news section. And if you want to skip to the topic, we have chapter points and timestamps, and you can go at your own pace or listen to the whole thing. We do like you sticking around though to listen to the whole rant situation. Speaking of rants, we have a tip of the day and a comment of the cast. Tip of the day. I don't know which one of us had a more recent backup issue. I haven't in a while.
I mean, I haven't had a recent backup issue per se, but
Okay.
I've had similar issues.
What's the tip of the day, Sarge?
The tip of the day is to make a backup of important data. 1 is none, 2 is 1. If something's important, you back it up.
What is the 1 is none, 2 is 1 thing? 2 backups?
No, it means 2 copies of the thing. If you've only got 1 copy, you have no copies, because when something happens to that copy, it's gone. If you have 2 copies, you have 1 copy, because if something happens to one, you've got a copy.
Well, if anybody else listening is dumb as I am, thank you for explaining it.
That's alright. Happy to help.
Awesome. Well, yeah, so backing up your stuff, I mean, that's pretty, pretty common thing to say, especially when you work on computers a lot or are around computers a lot. But some of the information that you have, like tax information, for example, you do want to have a backup of that, or like a hard copy that you have printed out, as well as something filed away on your computer just in case something happens to either one. Yeah. So,
I have
just
digital
an example.
copy, hard copy, and screen recording.
Yeah.
When it comes to tax stuff, I'm like, make it easy.
You gotta have it. I've also taken to sending things to myself on Discord. I have 2 Discord accounts. I'm not suggesting everybody do that, but I had one initially for when I worked security because I wanted to keep them separate. So I just send those to myself. You can make your own private server on Discord too. It's really easy to do, and just drop things there if you want. That's like a loose, easier example. You can also use Google Drive. I think it's called something else now. Use the drive space from Google. It's really cheap to get on a yearly plan for 100 gigs of storage space. And also just getting an external hard drive, just something, you can just plug into your computer, and there's a lot of ways. There's a lot of things you can do. But we suggest doing one of those and having 2 copies of the important stuff at any given time. Good tip, Sarge. Great tip. So we also have a comment of the cast. We pick a comment or 2 from the previous episode. The previous episode we talked about the chain, singular, that binds.
The chains that bind.
The chain. Come on now, Sarge.
What? The chain is chains.
The Brotherhood loophole that was used in Fallout New Vegas to try to oust McNamara in that faction of the Brotherhood, as well as then later used in Fallout 76 during the Steel Dawn content, which New Vegas was weirdly handled, whereas the Steel Dawn one was handled pretty well. Yeah. Which is kind of what we landed on. But we got a comment on that episode from R1 Arwan Reese. This is my comment, generously provided by Caedoized, another informative and entertaining podcast. Thanks for the playthrough whilst talking, makes them even more fun. Till next time, don't argue with autocannons.
I'm glad that there's people out there who are enjoying the video elements of a podcast
Yes,
as well.
yes. Thank you for enjoying the B-roll. That was a conscious choice at some point from me when I started doing a Let's Play. I was just like, well, we could put something on screen. Or no, conscious choice when I started doing Let's Play and when I got the studio version of DaVinci Resolve.
Yes, because faster renders.
Way faster renders. This is difference between hours and minutes. Like it's a really big gap of time. A lot of time that's being saved. Mm-hmm. I am having a struggling time with words.
It's fine. You've only got to talk for another hour or two.
And constructing sentences. We'll get there, Sarge. Okay, so let's get into the news, I suppose.
Yes.
I got first dibs on the news topic because we, even though we talked about the Cyberpunk Edgerunners teaser, what was it before? It was a teaser that we got shown for the Netflix series that's going to happen. Yep. We now have an actual trailer that I am going to attempt to narrate because somebody else commented that they really like me narrating trailers when we were talking about the Dungeons and Dragons movie trailer last episode also. So I'm gonna make an attempt. I've already watched this one through once and I have no idea what happened. It's just a smear of colors. So we're gonna try it again, and this this is my totally biased, super subjective opinion of what is on screen. You can follow along if you want. So we see an overhead of Night City. It's very recognizable.
Yep.
It says welcome to Night City.
But
and where Chrome at something
exceeds the flesh.
And then we see somebody shoot into a cop car and blood everywhere. A dude getting shot a lot.
Yep.
Somebody's in VR. He really enjoyed himself.
Oh, let's keep it PG.
Then a bunch of people in VR, but one of them got fried, it looked like. Now they're talking about Arasaka Tower. You recognize that? And then somebody got shot again in a car.
Oh no.
Talking about Arasaka Tower. Maybe it was Arasaka. Maybe that's what happened. Okay, this dude's got a chip in him. Like some sort of Cyberman.
Oh.
We got the Cyberpunk 2077 logo about a minute in. This dude's name is David. This guy's name is Maine. This guy's name is Dorito.
Dorito, yep.
Gratuitous nudity. Rebecca. Lucy. She has blue hair.
Oh.
There are explosions in cyberspace. Maybe. I don't know. It's switching in and out. Somebody was getting augmented. That looked like an Arasaka man right there. Talking about, you're in over your head, kid. Something along those lines. Ooh, there's some assassination happening. That's pretty sweet. Lots of more explosions. Somebody yelling David.
David,
Lucy.
no.
And more explosions. And they had the interface from the game on the screen too, just in case you forgot about the game. And now people are falling. People are watching another explosion. Oh wait, no. It's a rocket launch.
Yeah. The cuts have finally slowed down to a point where we can see what's happening.
David's promising someone he's going to take them to the moon. There was too many characters at once. I can't keep track. Cyberpunk Edgerunners. And Rebecca's apparently a psychopath. Okay. And that's the trailer. Ta-da! I didn't do very well on this one.
In Caedo's defense, pretty much
I had to read the closed captions too.
Yeah, there's closed captions for it because it's all in Japanese. And for about 2 minutes of a 2-minute 45 trailer, there's not a second that goes by without at least 2 cuts. It's super choppily edited. I will say I hate the trailer.
Wow, Sarge, you're back. You moved and you hate things all over again.
Yay. It's just cut way too fast.
It is, yeah.
Like, the clip at the end, where you actually see a little bit of a scene, that's nice. And I feel like the show could be pretty decent. But the trailer is just, look at all the colours, we're just going to cut really fast between action and people talking and anything, so it's just quick, and nothing of substance. And it's like, if a show is cut at all like that, I'll give up after the first episode because it's just too intense.
Yeah, there's too much. Like I said, it's a smear of colors. Next time I watch it, if I watch it again, I'll probably slow it down to like 0.5, just so I can...
Not a bad shout, honestly.
...understand what's happening. I should have done that to begin with, honestly. Maybe I'll do that next time. If a trailer is definitely too fast-paced, I'll just slow it down so I can fully narrate what's happening. Also, yeah, I have to read subtitles. I'd rather not have to read subtitles and see what's on screen at the same time. Doubly so for how quick this was. But yeah, Cyberpunk Edgerunners is coming when?
Next month?
I didn't even... Next month?
I mean, it had the number 9 in at the end. The release date, is in Japanese, though. 22 something.
September 2022. Something. Yeah, it says in the description, September 2022. Oh my goodness.
So coming next month to Netflix.
Yes. You know what else is in September? PAX West.
Is it now? I did not know that.
Which I should let everybody know that I am going to be at PAX West.
Go out and find Caedo. He looks exactly like his avatar.
So if anybody else is going to PAX West, I don't know, pop into the Discord. Tell me you're going to PAX. Like, I haven't even said anything in the Discord, honestly. But yeah, September 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Yeah. Wow. Wow, it's actually less than a month away. Oh my god.
Yep.
That was just a side thing. We get a lot of side things. What's another side thing that occurred? Sarge?
I sense this is a segue. I don't know where you're going with it, but Tactics Ogre is finally coming to PC. Is that what you were after?
Yes.
Cool. So, a game I have never heard of apparently has been on consoles for 27 years, but it's getting a PC port.
Yes.
Caedo, this game's older than I am.
Well, it's kind of a remake too, you know, as per the usual with Square Enix and their properties.
Would have to be a remake. If they literally just ported it flat over, that would not be good. Have you seen games that came out in 95?
Yeah. So this game is very much isometric tactical Final Fantasy-esque, or like imagine Final Fantasy Tactics. It's very much in that same vein. So it's something I'm very interested in because I like, you know, occasionally dip my toes into a tactical game here and there. I'm trying to remember what one I've played besides Civilization 6.
Civilization 5.
I mean, XCOM, obviously.
Yep.
And I still have my I think it's a greatest hits copy of Final Fantasy Tactics for the PlayStation 1 on the shelf down below, but I don't think I've played it in a very long time. So I'm excited to try something in that genre again, because it looks very much like Tactics.
Yeah. Like I'm watching the trailer of it, and if you told me this was Final Fantasy Tactics, I would believe you.
Yeah, but this is Tactics Ogre.
Yep.
Which is in a different universe, a different time, but look very familiar. So it's different. Maybe it's just a different dimension in the same sphere.
I mean, most Final Fantasy games seem to take place in different universe and different times, so...
Yeah. There was... Well, let's not get... We could go in the weeds in that.
No, let's not get too far into it.
And a lot of people, I'm guessing not too many of the listeners are Final Fantasy fans. But that's okay if you're a Bethesda fan. The QuakeCon digital event is happening August 18th through the 20th. So that is going to be 2 weeks from now when we put up the next podcast.
Yeah.
So if you are interested in seeing what kind of Bethesda oriented things are going on, I think there's going to be a focus on Redfall. Let's see, Redfall and Elder Scrolls Online, PC building. There was something else that was entertaining here. It was the dirtiest keyboard contest. Yeah, QuakeCon dirty keyboard contest. That one interests me. But also a little bit of Fallout 76 stuff, Fallout 4 interactive charity run, which I thought would be cool. Just a couple of cool things to stroll in and enjoy during QuakeCon.
Yeah.
And this is one of those rare things where a lot of the time Bethesda would go to QuakeCon to show like exclusive stuff just to QuakeCon goers. Many developers, I think, had that go to QuakeCon have done that in the past, but now it's going to be one of those things where we're probably all going to see it. So
yeah, I mean, it also doesn't look like there's going to be much exclusive stuff from what we can see so far.
There may not, but there also may. We don't really know. But from the history of QuakeCon, that's what I recall, that they have like some exclusive stuff that they show, and
yeah,
and
they
this is
tend
one
to
of
do
those...
like some reveals and stuff. But all of this looks very much more community focused, I'd say. Just hey, look, we're gonna have some fun with the community sort of thing, which is cool in its own way. But I'll be honest, it does make me slightly less excited for the event overall, just because I'm not too fussed about that. Don't have any hatred towards it or anything. It's just like meh. I
wonder if we're saying almost identical things to what happened at the last QuakeCon.
I can't remember the last QuakeCon, to be honest.
Like right before because I'm pretty sure the last one was a digital only event too.
Yeah.
Or the one before, or maybe this one is. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't feel like scrolling back that far and trying to find that topic.
Nope. I mean, I can't remember.
I'm just gonna assume
dropped last time.
I'm just gonna assume I say the same things over and over again, because that's what I do for guides. Speaking of guides, should you build your own PC?
Oh, depends.
Why does that depend, Sarge?
Well, okay, before I fully go into it, I'm going to have a little gripe about the fact that there are some people out there who can be very snobbish towards whether or not you built your PC or bought your PC, so to speak. And those people can go and do one. Quite frankly. Look, one of the big advantages of like just getting individual parts and putting together your own PC is that often you can save money. Like most of the time I'd say you save money doing it that way. And it means you can specialize a bit more in the specific stuff you want to do. Yep. However, if you're particularly nervous about it, or don't really know what you want or what will fit together, and it's all a bit too much, then just buying a pre-built PC is not a bad thing. And you are not a worse person for doing it, no matter what the people online that like to bully you might say. It's fine. It's absolutely fine to buy pre-built. I mean, I personally started with pre-built, and I've now replaced, I'm pretty sure, every single part. So I've ship-Theseus'd my way to a custom build. But both options are perfectly okay, and it's all dependent on your needs.
I thought you were going to find a way to bully me about my pre-built.
No.
But I forgot that you have one too.
I mean, you can't really call mine a pre-build anymore.
Initially a pre-build that you shoved more things into. No, I get it.
Yeah. I mean, I not only shoved more things into it, it's got like a new case and everything. I don't think there's a single part remaining from the initial pre-bought thing.
Yeah. I mean, that's how my Acer Predator was too, before I replaced the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's like, by the time I was done, it was just the motherboard that was the same.
I've changed the motherboard. I know that for certain.
No, it's true, because I transferred the OS over to an SSD as well. So, like, everything was different except for the motherboard. And I got the new tower just so I could fit a larger video card into the tower.
Yeah.
Physically larger, that is, for anybody else. Like, they can be monstrous at this point.
Huge. If I get a bigger card than the one I've got now, I will need to upgrade the case size.
But yeah, anyway, this article, its headline is, should you build your own PC or just give up and buy one? And buy a pre-built? So this is actually via Polygon, a cool little article written by Ryan Gilliam, or more like a guide, I guess. Going over the things that you'll need to shop for if you're considering buying your own PC, places to go when you're shopping for parts, as well as a nice video from a step-by-step by ECPU on how to build a PC, as well as if you're going the pre-built route, what you can do like in kind of the middle ground with like iBuyPower's website. I don't personally recommend that one, but that's what they suggested here, where you can customize your pre-built PC. So you're completely hands-off, and you can still pick and choose like what kind of hardware you want to go into your machine without having to get your hands dirty per se. Which is a route that's cool, and I like the idea of being able to customize what I'm ordering.
Yeah, that is pretty nice.
Whereas what I chose to do is wait till Cyber Monday and see what kind of HP gaming computers were up for sale, and I got an HP Omen that had an i9 CPU and a 3070 GPU in it. I was like, I got it. I guess I gotta get that. Because that's when the big like shortage was happening too. Like trying to get an actual just video card by itself was a nightmare. So I just decided to go that route. It was the right time. I needed an upgrade. And this was a reliable way to get an RTX of some kind. So, but also somebody in the comments, like way down below at the bottom of this article too, recommended to make sure you have budget, and you are budgeting for a PC, especially when it's for gaming or something high performance, because you're going to spend $1,000 or more. Especially if it's pre-built. Like I think this was $3,000-ish. This, like, it's worth it to me because I do this all the time. But
it's also for your job.
Yes, that's something heavily to consider as well. Like I could have gone a little lower of a price point if I were just a game player, an enjoyer of video games. But I render videos, I record and all that junk.
Yeah, so like I'm an absolute cheapskate, but the PC is something I will spend money on because it's for work.
Yeah. So, but yeah, budgeting is important too. Make sure you have the money to spend. And like there's definitely certain parts, like Sarge was just saying, most of the parts you don't want to go cheap on. And make sure you're looking at various pre-builts if you're going that route, to make sure that they're not going cheap on parts either, if you're more familiar with how things work. Because when I decided to get my laptop, my gaming laptop, the MSI one, they went cheap on the hard drive. So despite being a graphical powerhouse of a laptop, the hard drive could not keep up. So I had to replace it for it to function the way that I wanted it to. So double check that. At the very least, double check and make sure that you're at least getting a basic SSD to run Windows if you're getting anything pre-built. Because we're now at that point. So
I mean, the biggest tip overall I can give when it comes to building or upgrading a PC is check if any of your friends have previous knowledge. Because that's what I did early on. I reconnected with an old friend who's in the tech industry, and he was, more than anything, him just being confident about it helps out no end when you're new to the whole deal. Yeah,
that is helpful too. If you have, make sure they have proof though too, because I mean I have my own personal experience too. Make sure that you can see their rig and like see what they put together themselves already, just to get a good idea of what you can expect if they're going to help you with helping you get a custom PC. Sentences should be spoken in full phrases. and punctuation. So Sarge, should you build your own PC?
Maybe. I answered that at the top. My answer remains unchanged.
Me, no. I should not build my own PC because I tired of it. It became old. I understand how things plug into the motherboard and how the power turns on. Liquid cooling is still scary to me.
Throw some water in your computer, it'll be fine.
Just plug a hose into it.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a resource for you though if you're looking into something like that. It's pretty well put together. And a shout out to Polygon for having that available for people. Okay, well, you happen to link a couple more stories here, Sarge.
I did.
So what is this next thing? Oh,
yeah.
This is another Ex-CDPR devs thing.
We've got another thing relating to that whole company. So not everyone who worked at CDPR is still there. There is now a company called Dark Passenger, made up of a bunch of like veterans from the company behind The Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk 2077, and they have just announced that they are making a multiplayer stealth action game set in feudal Japan.
That sounds pretty fun.
I am really curious to see it when it like gets a proper trailer and stuff, because I've not found a trailer anywhere. We have a few images, like concept art. It's like more developed than concept art. It's like all fully coloured in stuff, but yeah, we got some images of it. It looks like it could be interesting. The thing that's getting me, the thing that's getting me most of all is multiplayer.
Yeah.
A stealth multiplayer game.
I know that's a bit of a snag for you. Maybe it's could be as simple as like the Assassin's Creed like bounty system where somebody can invade and you'll have a bounty on them or something like that.
Well, it specifically says in the article, let me find it here, there will be no single player outside of a training dojo, although Dark Passenger expressed interest in expanding the universe. Yeah, this is a multiplayer game.
Dang it. Alright, never mind.
Were you thinking when I said it was multiplayer that it was going to be single player?
PvP and co-op PvE.
I mean, it doesn't really give too much information. This is kind of just the announcements of, hey, this exists kind of things. Yeah, the first person with the occasional third person. The first person part I'm obviously down with.
Obviously. That's like your that's your one thing.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see.
I'm sad to say that we may be in an era where stealth action will never be at the peak that it was with MGS5. Like, ever again. I'm worried about. Then again, I haven't played Ghost of Tsushima, but I also heard that the stealth was kind of there, but also just standard, like, classic medieval Japanese films, or feudal Japanese films, were very much an inspiration, where it's the one-on-one showdown type stuff. So, like, I don't know. I still haven't played it, so I need to play it. But the bar is pretty high with MGS5. So
yeah,
and that franchise is dead.
For me, when I think of like the stealth actiony games, my brain always goes back towards Tenchu, like Stealth Assassin,
Tenchu,
like PlayStation 1. And yeah, I've googled it. It's 1998. So yeah, I think about like these stealth games as being when I was a tiny little child.
Yeah, something showed me clips of that when, like, not too long ago. I don't remember what it was though.
I think it had got a remake.
It had
recently.
blood fountains, right?
Probably.
Anime blood fountains.
I never played much of it. It was a third-person game on the PS1 that was stealth-based and incredibly difficult, and I was a child, so... Yeah, I didn't
Gotcha.
play much, but yeah, I think for this game that Dark Passenger are making conceptually looks cool, but there's less than a 1% chance I'm gonna play it.
Yeah.
It's just a bit of a shame, but maybe let us know in the comments if this is the kind of thing that you'd love to play, because I am curious just how much of a market a multiplayer stealth-based game has.
I just scrolled down to that first screenshot. That looks like a comedy. Looks like a violent
being
comedy.
stabbed through the neck. Yeah.
His eyes are bugging out of his head.
I mean, you say screenshot. I doubt that's a screenshot. I feel like that's...
pre-rendered image and or artwork.
Yeah, I feel like that's artwork, especially the light going around the side of the head there.
Yeah.
That's...
Whatever it is, it looks like a comedy. Yeah. So look forward to seeing what else Dark Passenger shows us, but we'll see. So we have two former Witcher devs that split off to different teams.
Yeah. It seems like a lot of people left CDPR, and considering just how much the company put into like doing the whole Cyberpunk thing and so many different aspects to Cyberpunk, such as the anime we talked about, the multiplayer that was cancelled, huge single player and all the DLCs, like half of that has been scrapped and all of it got delayed at some point. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people just left due to the huge amount of work that was going on.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to see if any of it pans out.
Yeah. And I'm hoping so. Like, whatever it is, I still hope the best for them. Because they need something after the nonsense from working with CDPR. Whatever nonsense they had to deal with.
Yeah.
Because we know there was a lot. Well, Microsoft is rolling out a 5-person family sharing Gamepass plan.
Yeah. So this is just something they're testing currently.
Yes.
So Gamepass is like the monthly subscription service that gets you a bunch of games and stuff like that. Extra perks too, which is always nice. And currently just rolling out to Colombia and Ireland is a big program of having up to 5 people on a family/group Game Pass. So instead of paying the normal price of apparently a low month of Ultimate is $15, they're guessing on this article that it'd be something like $30 or so, a little bit more than obviously one person, but for multiple people, do give yourself a saving. And I'm down with this idea overall. I am curious, if it's kind of IP locked sort of thing, so it's just for a household, or if you could do a group sharing thing, just with anyone anywhere. So Caedo, what's your whole thought on this?
What's my hope?
Whole thought.
My whole thought.
Yep, the entire thing, but only one of it.
Just one thought.
Yep.
My thought is neat.
There we go. Yeah, I mean, it's neat. This is only just being rolled out, so there's time to see how it goes and if they actually go through with it. But I like the idea. I'm not sure if it's something I'll be able to use, but it's cool. I am a Game Pass Ultimate user, because I have it for both PC and the Xbox, because that way I've got Xbox Live in it, and there's perks and stuff, and it's worked out pretty well for me so far. I count pennies, and yet I'm still happy to pay for Game Pass. So, yeah. I think it's already not badly priced, and if there's an even more efficient way for it for multiple people, even better.
All right. Well, we talked about a good deal with the Game Pass. We're actually all through with the news stuff. We got through it pretty quickly. Despite me saying it on a lot of episodes throughout the podcast, this might be a short one.
We'll see.
The topic. An article from The Gamer written by Ritwik Mitra, titled Fallout 4, 15 Things You Can Do Before Starting the Main Storyline. I'll start off by reading the first little bit of it. And and then we'll kind of determine, like, you can help me with this, Sarge, I hope, determine like what we're going to critique about it, maybe rating system or something like that. But I'll start with the first couple lines. It says, Fallout 4's narrative is one of the game's highlights, but players don't have to rush into it. There are plenty of great things you can do beforehand. Fallout 4 has no ceiling to the number of ways you can approach the game and have fun with it. With a vast open world, you can pretty much play the game however you like. There are even some ways to get ahead of the game before you start the main storyline. After a brief playable introduction to the game, the main character emerges from Vault 111. A command will immediately pop up on the screen and tell the player to return to the main character's home. You could start the game from that point on, but why when you have the entire open world available? There is no such thing as being over-prepared. And then there was an update on July 13th, 2022. This was written on... Well, it doesn't say now. It says when it was updated. Yeah. Fallout 4 is a great title where players have a ton of freedom to explore the world at their own pace. Even with the increased importance and urgency of the main story of the game, Fallout 4's main quest can be completely ignored while players mess around the world. Here are some of the things that players can do before even bothering to progress the main story of Fallout 4. That's right. Weird. It's just like a repeat of...
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a weird little update. I have the rating system, so to speak, sorted in my head. First up is a simple kind of yes-no determination. Is this something you do before starting the main story of the game? Just flat out, either yes or no. For that, we will need to determine where we count starting the main story at.
I don't know. I still like starting with Conquered, but if we're going to start a little bit further in, why don't we just start with like the trigger point being Piper in front of Diamond City?
Oh, okay. That's going to Diamond City though. That is still a big hub.
Yeah.
I think that's
but you're actually led to Nick Valentine through that. Like that part is railroaded to you because you start with Piper, you meet the mayor immediately afterwards, and then it's like, okay, talk to Nick.
Yeah, but all of the actual going into Diamond City stuff can still be side quest things. I feel like actually going to the vault with Nick is the first point where it's like, this is just a place for the main story to get started.
How about Valentine's Detective Agency?
Sure.
Like once you walk in there and you talk to his receptionist.
Let's just say that quest is like the starting point.
Okay.
Alright, so as long as you don't have to be on that quest / through it, then you can do it before the main storyline. That's a-okay.
Okay.
Alright.
Cool.
And secondly, I'd just say, as a bit of a rating, score-wise, is how interesting is it out of 10? Because 15 things you can do before starting the main storyline could be harvest melons. Sure thing. Not worth writing in an article.
Make adhesive farms.
Well, I mean, that's at least a little more interesting. That'd be at least a 3 out of 10.
That's useful. That's a practical thing to do.
Alright, so rating system decided, or at least told to you. I will not be argued with on it.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Let's do it.
No, that's fine.
Let's just start down the list.
Dude, you start. You start with number 15.
Okay. Yep. Encounter the major factions in the game. So the article says there are several factions the player can interact with in Fallout 4, with all of them playing a fairly important role in the overall plot. Aside from the Syndicate and the Brotherhood of Steel, all the other factions can be interacted with regardless of the story's motivations. The Syndicate?
The who?
The Syndicate.
Who is that?
Syndicate. They obviously meant Institute, but Syndicate it will do. Sure, Syndicate. I wonder if they've played Fallout 4. Or even just played it recently. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if this is a case of they played it, like, when it came out, and then, like, a year or two later, they're asked to write an article.
There has to be a situation where it was just an autocorrect from Institute to Syndicate.
But Institute is already a word. Like, how badly do you have to mess up the spelling of Institute to end up with it autocorrecting to Syndicate?
YNSTYTUTE?
I even feel like that wouldn't manage it.
Something like that.
Yeah, it also says in here that you do have to align yourself with a faction to reach the ending of a game, so it's better to start sooner rather than later. But I feel like that's kind of a thing for doing the main story.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
No, I feel like this is just taking like pieces out of the main story and making it side content, because they're very much tied to the main story.
Yeah.
like if you're progressing the way you're you're intended, at least, you're going to beat all 4 of the factions. Like, that's just how it goes. Sure, you can do it early if you really want to, but like, you're gonna do it anyway in the main story, and that's still, I don't know. So what's rating system again?
Yes or no on if you can do it before starting the main storyline. And I think this one's like technically yes, because they do at least say, aside from the Syndicate and Brotherhood of Steel, and while they said Syndicate instead of Institute, they are correct in including that detail, because the Brotherhood of Steel and the Institute you can't meet before getting started on the main story, whereas the Railroad and the Minutemen you can, and you can start doing quests with them. Although, like you point out, it is kind of tied into the main story, because if you're going to go through and do the playthrough with them, then you need to have done this stuff. So I think it's a technically yes, but only just. Yeah.
So I guess I'll give this, whether it's something that you should do beforehand.
Yeah, kind of like how fun it is to do.
I don't know, 5. Like,
yeah,
that's,
I'm happy with a 5.
like average. Like,
yeah.
If you're doing a, I mean, you did a run for the Deliverer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Deliverer is the best handgun in the game. So if you know what you're doing, you can go get the Deliverer pretty early on.
Yeah. I mean, this point is literally just encounter the factions as well.
Yeah.
So it's not really like telling you to do anything specific other than just meet them. So I think 5 out of 10's as high as I'd go.
If I were to encounter them intentionally, then if it was the Railroad, I would definitely go for the Deliverer.
Yeah.
Like, get that first mission out of the way. So that's why it's a 5 for me, I think.
Yep. Alright, so that one was technically acceptable besides the Syndicate part. Alright, what's number 14, Caedo?
14. A little bit of world building stuff, I think. Discover the public uproar against the synths. It says the synths are one of the most important characters in Fallout 4. Debatable. A majority of the characters either hate or want to protect these artificial humans, who are encountered as enemies several times in the game too. Understanding the reason behind this hate makes for a great time in Fallout 4. Entering Diamond City is the best way to see how much hate and distrust there is for these artificial beings and form your own opinions. So this is another thing that requires you to go to a hub.
Yeah. But as established, just going to Diamond City is okay.
I'm still
going into... Look, you can't just start with that, because it's such a huge place. There's so many different things that take you there. It's not just the main story. Like, I've not started the main story at all, in my opinion, on my latest Fallout 4 playthrough, but I've been to Diamond City. Like, it's huge. It's so easy to get to. You can go there and not do anything regarding to the story. You don't even need to talk to the mayor. You only need to talk to Piper to get in briefly, and then you can just walk away from them. Like, I'm not having it be classed as just being at Diamond City as part of the main story. Otherwise, we could be like, oh, heading to Sanctuary is part of the main story. And that is, like, difficult to avoid.
Seeing Codsworth is the main story.
Oh, the part where you, like, get out of the vault and the light shines at you, that's the main story.
Just
remember
like
the intro of a
try to face east the whole time when you're walking through.
Yeah.
And then face west or face north suddenly so you don't see Dogmeat also.
Yep.
Because Dogmeat's the main story character.
Yes. Alright. I think discovering stuff about the simps is, yes, that is something that will almost certainly happen before you start the main story.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, even if you're trying to, like, speedrun through the main story, you'll come across some of this. It's a huge part of the game.
Yeah. It's a main theme. of the game.
Like, I'd argue it's not even something you do so much as something that just happens as you play.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like we talked about this during one of the episodes where we discussed the synths. Where, and you corrected me. I was like, this game's theme is what it means to be human, and you were like, people, and I'm like, human person. I remember that specifically.
Yeah.
But yeah, so almost subconsciously it shows you like what classifies as a person as you're progressing, even exploring ruins, because they make excessive use of mannequins too throughout the game to make you think that maybe there's somebody else in the room with you. It is kind of creepy, but also it does drive home that theme of like when you see a synth and you see a mannequin, you see a human being, like where does the line happen? Why is it so gray, kind of thing? And that's what you're exploring in the game, and it's cool, and there needs to be more about it, but the Institute sucks. That's a different rant.
Where would you rate the just discovering the public uproar against the Simps out of 10 though?
Yes, and also 8.
8? Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it's pretty high up there. Like you're gonna learn about them.
I mean, I was thinking 6 or 7, simply because it is the sort of thing that you will just passively learn about, so to speak. But also telling people to go out and maybe dig into it a little bit is a worthwhile thing to do.
Yeah, I forgot the name of that ruin where the massacre happened.
Oh, it's the one almost on the coast in the southeast, right?
Yeah.
With the bank there and the few Sims still patrolling around.
You gotta dig for info on that one.
Yeah, I can't. Annoyingly, I can't remember the name of it either. Someone listening will know what we're on about.
One of you listeners knows what we're talking about. You're gonna correct us in the comments.
Overall, though, that's an interesting enough one. Thumbs up. All right. Number 13. Start gathering useful loot. Looting anything and everything in Fallout 4 is a golden ticket to getting encumbered in the game. Instead, players should be wary about what they pick up, some loot being objectively better than others. You should only be picking up the items that are valuable, important, or both. Players will amass a fortune even if they don't sell anything, and everything they can get their hands on. What? Oh, even if they don't sell anything and everything they can get their hands on.
This one's weird.
This one is weird. It's literally pick up good stuff.
It's got a picture of bobbleheads too, as
yeah.
It doesn't mention collectibles at all.
No, that's the thing. It doesn't tell you what to pick up. It's just like, pick up the good loot and not the bad loot.
Pick up the good loot. But Fallout 4 is the loot everything game too.
Oh yeah.
Out of the whole franchise, it's the loot everything, so you can put it in your workshop.
Yeah, there's very few items not worth picking up at all. Like, probably maybe not even 10 items in the entire game that have zero value or use to them.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Yeah. If it were earlier games, like Fallout 3, it'd be easier to pinpoint, like, what you would consider useful. Yeah. Because the majority of the junk in that game is actually useless.
Yeah, but in Fallout 4, you want the junk. You want so much of a junk. You want everything.
Yep.
And the fact they're not really telling you what to pick up, just telling you that some loot is better than others, and should only be picking up items that are valuable, important, or both, without explaining what they are, is not super helpful.
Can we ditch the yes and no thing, because this is a yes and no?
Okay.
It's a yes for the top, and then no for whatever the words happen afterwards.
I mean, I'd say it's a yes in terms of you can do it before starting the main storyline, but I'd give it a 1 out of 10 in terms of something interesting. It's literally pick stuff up. Wow.
Can we just do the number thing?
Just a number thing, fine. And if there is something that can't be done without the main story, we'll scream.
I'm gonna say 1 also, because they could have said bobbleheads and magazines. It's just 2 words.
Yeah. I mean, they did show a picture of bobbleheads, which is where they're getting the point from me. Yes. But yeah, that's just pick stuff up.
But they didn't factor in that we were going to be reading it out loud to our listeners, and they don't necessarily need to look at the article. Number 12, experiment with survival mode. Survival mode is a pretty great way to make things more challenging and interesting in Fallout 4. This is a link. What does this link to? The 15 most powerful builds in Fallout 4? What?
Oh, we're gonna have to add that to the list.
Okay, well, that's a weird link. Okay. Most veterans of Fallout 4 know how fun and engaging this mode really is. Yes, you and I both know. I hope other people that are listening know. Survival mode adds a massive number of changes to the game, making it a pretty engaging mode indeed. Fans of the game who want a more hardcore experience will be well serviced with this new mode. Well, this mode is not new, so does this imply that this article was written 2016 initially and then updated?
It could just be that it's a new mode within the franchise.
Okay.
Like,
I guess I'll give that a pass. This survival isn't for everybody.
Oh no, it's really not. I do wish that this little bit kind of stressed a bit more, because it's the only thing mentioning it is like a more hardcore experience.
Yeah.
And that's it. Otherwise, it's just like, oh, it's fun and engaging and stuff like that.
The most important bit they should have added is that, like, you can't switch back.
Nope.
Once you start playing in survival mode, you'll have to revert back to the save where you didn't have it turned on.
Yeah. The fact they say experiment with it as well makes it sound like it's just, test it out for a bit, see how it goes.
Yeah, start a new game.
No, you commit to it. You commit to survival.
Yeah.
And then you cry when you die because you didn't sleep for 4 hours straight of gameplay.
Yeah, I make note of every single bed I come across, man.
Yeah.
You have to. Anyway, it's a much more slow and methodical way to play, because everything can kill you, and Molotovs are hell. I'm gonna... Things to do before starting the main storyline, too. Like, I want to give this one a 1 or 2.
I kind of want to give it an NA, because it's like, hey, play the game on a difficulty setting.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even per se something you're doing within the game, it's just the game. It's like, hey, something to do before this, play the game. Boot up your computer, like... It's a low ranking just because it's not actually doing anything.
Yeah.
That being said, I do love survival.
Yeah, same. I haven't played in a long while, but man, survival's great.
Alright. Number 11 is amass a small fortune. I'd love to. Hoarding bottle caps is a great way to make things easier in Fallout 4. It gives the player the means to replenish supplies and also buy any powerful weapon that might appear at a vendor. Most players of Bethesda games tend to become billionaires in their respective worlds by the end of these adventures, so Fallout 4 is obviously no different.
That one links to 15 ways to level up fast in Fallout 4.
Wait, and that's how to become a billionaire?
Yep. I'm sure there's a money one in here somewhere. There has to be.
I'm checking. Oh god. One of them is find as many intelligence bobbleheads as possible.
Use the barter skill. That's what it's... This is awful. Okay, keep going. Keep going.
God. What do you mean keep going? That was the entire thing.
Oh no, we can't keep going. Oh, amass a small fortune. This one.
It's nothing again. It's pick up
It's a
money.
nothing. It's a nothing thing.
All they do, I wouldn't be surprised if they're like walk around Sanctuary as a future point. Actually, no, that would be more than what they've given here. Walk around the wasteland. If that's a future point, that's all we're getting here. We're getting, oh hey, in this game, you pick up money, and you meet people, and there is a difficulty mode. That's it.
Yep.
I wonder if this person has ever played Fallout 4. Because this...
Getting that vibe too.
Yeah, this genuinely is like what someone who has just heard or overheard a conversation on the bus about Fallout 4 would be able to tell you. This is so nothing.
They overheard a conversation and they're like, oh no, it's confirmed. Guess what I'm referencing?
I don't know.
New Vegas 2.
Alright, just move on to number 10, Caedo.
Yeah, that's one. That's a 1 out of 10.
Yeah.
The 10th 10 out of... Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah.
Next one is decide how you want to start. After you exit the vault, you have at least a couple of weapon types to choose from. Whether you want to build a melee warrior or a sharpshooter, let's see where these link, you'll want to start by taking a look at the perk chart. This can be accessed from your Pip-Boy. From here, you can see all the different abilities you can get as you progress through the game and begin planning your character's build.
This is bad advice. They're telling you to check your perks and stuff after you leave the vault.
Yeah.
It's like, once you've chosen your special, then take a look and see what it does.
Yeah. I mean, you can't really... Are you able to even look at the perks?
Yeah. When you're in the vault, before you leave, and you get to change things, you can go through the perks.
Yeah.
That's the time to do it.
This should be before you exit the vault. A very crucial word change would make this actually useful.
Yeah. That would actually make this a decent thing.
Yeah, because you can rebuild right before you emerge. Right before you have the breakout moment. Or the step out moment. It's also,
once again, just another thing that you have to do to kind of start up the game.
Yeah.
Is decide how you want to start.
It's that too. So is that another 1?
Oh yeah, it's another 1 out of 10.
Cool.
I want to start giving zeros, if I'm being honest.
We're going full Sarge.
I mean, I'm a bit annoyed because it was the last Gamer article we read, right, which was actually decent.
Yeah.
Like, we had a decent one. It was like, yeah, this isn't too bad. You know, the game, they have a few cringy articles here and there, but there's some good stuff around it too.
It was a good build. It was good, like, New Vegas build suggester thing that wasn't, like...
Yeah.
Forcing you one way or another, and also had like tables and examples. I was like, oh my god, this is great.
We had a few complaints, but overall it was a solid thing. But this one is garbage.
This one's awful.
Oh no. Hey, remember that joke I said? Number 9, explore the outskirts of Sanctuary. Okay, it's a little bit more than my joke at least. There are a handful of points of interest surrounding Vault 111. Explore them. You will encounter enemies, but you can beat them and loot their equipment. This will give you a pretty good start on your weaponry and armor. If you look hard enough, you will come across your first companion.
Your first companion that has a quest marker on their head?
I mean, yeah. That's so dumb. This is literally the walk around Sanctuary joke I made.
Just walk around.
Hey, did you know if you encounter enemies, you get stuff?
Did you know if you kill enemies, you get their stuff?
Oh wow!
That you want, because you're a wastelander.
I like how it also says this will give you a pretty good start on your weaponry armor. What will killing enemies and taking their stuff? I mean, depends which enemies you kill. You're just fighting the insects? No.
Yeah, you'll get food potentially. Not very good food, but food.
Alright.
1.
I half want to give it a 2 just because it's telling you to actually do something.
2 out of 10?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna
I'll
go with it a 2. Okay, Caedo. Number 8.
Number 8. Dungeon crawling. There are a few places around Sanctuary that you will enter, hidden in the shadows of the Commonwealth. A few places. Checking that link. Awesome areas in Fallout 4 you had no idea about. That one's actually on topic. You will want to enter these with caution, as there are many treasures to find, but there are also enemies to fight. Are they explaining this to a baby?
Oh, yeah.
These places will often have a lot of junk, ammo, and weapons to loot. These are a great way to begin leveling up your character as well.
All of this stuff as well as stuff you will do before starting the main story.
Hello, I am Fallout Baby.
Yeah. I'm Fallout Baby from year 1472. I do not know what technology is. I need this explained to me.
Retitle this, How to Get Your Baby to Play Fallout 4.
Oh.
How to interest your infant in the Fallout franchise.
That's another one.
It's a good headline.
Number 7 is establish a merchant. Merchants come few and far between at the beginning of the game, but they're there, you just have to find them. You can find a trader on the western border of the map across from Sanctuary.
Go on.
I'm also wondering which trailer they're on about. There is also a diner south of a Red Rocket gas station where you will have to help out the owner. Once you do, you will be able to trade with her. Having a merchant this early will be important for you to offload unwanted weapons and junk in exchange for caps. That's where it ends.
This is a 4.
You're giving this a 4?
Sorry, no, a 3, because that west thing, there's sanctuaries on the west. On the western end.
They're saying the western border of the map, but I'm trying to think of what's on the western border if they just, like, ran across a random merchant there.
The farm, maybe? Or, like,
the farm
Trash
you can only
Can
sell
Carla?
lemons at. Trash Can Carla you could bump into there, but she's more likely to be encountered on the southern road towards the diner, which they don't mention the name of. They also don't point out that you can side against her and have a different trade partner.
Yeah, unless you kill her. Am I right, listeners?
Yep.
Am I right, Sarge?
Yeah.
Am I right, Sarge's audience?
This is... God, this is such a garbage article.
Yep.
Just read number 6.
But I'm gonna give context.
Let's just get through this.
For context, I paid Sarge a bounty to kill Trash Can Carla. And it's an ongoing joke. Anyway, 6. Finding power armor before the story. The iconic power armor of Fallout is pretty easy to come by when starting the storyline, but you can find it much sooner. If you travel northwest of Sanctuary, you'll come across a robot scrapyard, and nearby is a suit of power armor. A fusion core is needed to run the power armor, but if you did some exploring throughout the area, you should have easily picked one up. The power armor eliminates fall damage and increases damage and RAD's resistance.
Northwest of Sanctuary, huh?
Yeah, northwest.
Top corner of the map.
Yep, top left. Top.
The robot scrapyard definitely isn't due east of Sanctuary. Wouldn't be there, no. No. Definitely northwest.
This is the second one that's really wanting us to go west when we can't.
Yep. It just wants us to hang around in the top corner of the map.
Just hang out near Sanctuary the whole time. That's where you should be.
No.
It's safe there.
Not even near Sanctuary, it's like, leave Sanctuary, go beyond the vault, and go to the little fence there. That's the game. This is what you can do before starting the main storyline. This person has no idea about the different things you can do before starting the main storyline.
No.
They're giving the most boring and basic stuff. There's actually things you can do before you start the main story, and they've not said, like, a single interesting one so far. Besides maybe, like, encountering the factions. But that's still tied into it.
I'm having trouble thinking of, like, whether or not they watched the beginning of a playthrough only up until a certain point and then stopped and, like, based their knowledge on a map they saw in the gameplay.
It could have literally just been like episode 1 of a Let's Play, yeah. Yeah,
or they played the game, but only up until getting to, like, Diamond City, and then stopped.
Yeah.
Something along those lines.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's the next one?
Number
Sarge?
5, destroy and rebuild Sanctuary. Once you exit the vault, the player is tasked with going back to his home. The once perfect suburban neighborhood is now reduced to post-apocalyptic rubble. A red workbench can be found within Sanctuary. Use this to start cleaning up the neighborhood. You'll want to get all of your settlement stat numbers to at least 10. This includes your food, water, beds, and defense.
Whoa.
This is something.
This sure is something. 2?
I was going to give it like a 3 or maybe even a 4.
Probably a 4. A 4 is right.
I mean, they mentioned that there's stats there.
There is.
And this is technically a thing you could do. People do enjoy settlement building, to be fair.
Yes.
This is very much still baby's first understanding of settlement building.
Mm-hmm.
There's literally, when you interact with the workshop bench, there are more words written on that little tooltip than in this section of the article, but cool, whatever.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
Yep.
Oh, and number 3, or number 4, sorry, is totally a distinct point, right, Caedo?
Yep, totally. Build a recruitment radio beacon. Once you have spruced up Sanctuary a bit and added some amenities, you can build a recruitment radio beacon that will attract settlers to stay at Sanctuary. The recruitment radio beacon is located under the power category in the miscellaneous section, MISC section, of the builder mode. Once you have a few settlers, you can begin assigning them jobs such as farming, defense, and scavenging to help run the settlement.
Oh well, building your settlement involves having people over to build your settlement.
So useful if the game didn't already tell you that through a quest.
Yeah. It's also the fact that they've decided to split these into 2 different parts. We even see in the images that it's like, you can see the radio recruitment beacon in the image for number 5 of Destroy and Rebuilding Sanctuary, and then they just got a different angle of that shot.
I'm pretty sure several of these are, if not all of them, except for the Nuke World one. That one's out of place. But the rest of them, maybe even the bobbleheads one might be somebody else's screenshot, but several of these look like just a lot of screenshots in the early areas of the game.
Yeah. Well, that one was just the same as the last. There's nothing to add on there. God, this article sucks. Number 3, build your arsenal. By now, you should have a pretty good stock of weapons with different ammo types. Use the crafting tables to make them powerful and efficient. You will be able to increase damage, reduce recoil, add sights and scopes, and increase ammo capacity for your weapons. Keep the ammo types diverse, so that you always have a backup if you run out of a certain ammo type. Ensuring that you have an effective arsenal will make your battles in the wasteland much easier. I'm going to start with a compliment. Making sure you have weapons with different ammo types is a useful thing to do before getting into the main story.
That is definitely a useful thing to say.
That is the only useful thing to really say here, but good.
Good?
This is one of those ones where if this was on a list where the rest of it had been good, I'd be perfectly happy with it. The fact it's a standout and like in the top 3 of the entire article so far is incredibly disappointing.
Should we give it like a 5?
Because I think a 5, yeah.
It's middle of the road.
Yep.
Like, it's got an interesting bit, but yeah, it's just above.
Little tip.
Just above the bar.
Yeah. All right. Penultimate one now, Caedo. Number 2.
Number 2. Reach level 10 and raise the difficulty. Once you have reached level 10, your build for your character should be well on its way. Now it's time to get some legendary equipment. Increasing the difficulty will increase the chances of a legendary enemy appearing. When you defeat legendary enemies, they will drop legendary armor and weapons. These rare weapons and armor will have a special attribute to them. Equip them or sell them for pre-bottle cap. That's correct, right?
Yeah, but
increased difficulty is higher chance of legendary enemies.
Increased difficulty should increase the chance of legendary enemies appearing, although it is like a super RNG thing just in general. Like, I know I've had plenty of times where I've been on a low difficulty and had tons of legendary show up, and plenty of times on high difficulty where I wait ages to see one, because it is still all random. But yeah, technically true.
Okay, well,
this is...
they have this weird attraction to the difficulties of the game, because this is the second one related to difficulty settings.
Yep. I like how if you're also playing on survival mode, you can't raise the difficulty.
Yeah, you can't change it back. So this is the number 2, or the second to last.
Yep. Now that you've put it on the hardest difficulty, try raising it even higher.
Yeah, try to raise it to super survival.
Yeah.
Or you can't save ever. You just have to leave it on.
Yeah. It's permadeath and your character gets like IRL diseases all the time just for no reason because life is unfair.
And it's also over if the game crashes.
Yep. Your Fallout 4 gets fully uninstalled.
Yeah. So this one's kinda lame too.
Yep.
I don't think I've ever recommended raising the difficulty in any game ever.
No, I mean, the survival one, at least that changes how the game plays somewhat, so I can understand, like, recommending that to people. But with the difficulty settings, which are much more in line of just enemy gets stronger, you get weaker, or you get stronger, enemy gets weaker.
Mm-hmm.
It's always a case of pick the difficulty that works for you.
Yeah, and that's how it should be.
Yeah.
What I recall, the one of the few times that I did talk about difficulty was in the tips and tricks for Fallout 1 or 2, and that was reducing the difficulty down to easy, the base difficulty, because there's 2 difficulty knobs.
Yeah.
Because if you reduce the base difficulty, that'll increase your secondary skills or your active skills. So like repair, science, first aid, doctor, that kind of thing. It will raise them to like 20%, I think, 20% or 30% if you reduce it down to easy. And then you can switch back to normal if you're just trying to get through something.
Yeah.
And that's why I would recommend that, because that's one of the few times that the game difficulty like gives you an actual boost to obviously harder. It reduces the skills.
Yeah.
So but yeah, just like if you're trying to get through a door or something like that, it keeps jamming on you, and yeah, stuff like that. But I don't think I don't think I've ever, somebody could call me on it, I'm sure, but I don't think I've ever recommended increasing the difficulty just because.
I'm going to give this a 2 out of 10.
2 out of 10?
Because they mentioned the legendary thing.
That's the only reason. But
yeah.
Why? I mean,
but it is the point of like, well, if you raise the difficulty too high and you struggle with it,
yeah,
then great, you've just got an enemy whose health bar regenerates now. And
what if the increased legendaries just happen to be rolling pins?
Yep, which can 100% happen.
Rolling pins and pool cues. Look at that.
Yeah.
All for nothing.
Alright. Well, I've just seen what number 1 on the list is of things to do before starting the main storyline. And we argued, you all heard us. You heard Caedo and I fighting about where the main story starts.
It's before we got to this point, too. Like, we decided this before we saw this.
Number 1 on the list is Save Valentine, Ditch Garvey. It's literally things to do before starting the main storyline. Start the main storyline. Yep.
Because this is definitely the main storyline we established.
Yeah, this was the latest point as well. Mm-hmm. Like, your latest was the beginning of this quest, my latest was the end of this quest.
Yep.
That's crazy. Okay, Preston Garvey is among the most annoying NPCs in all of gaming, as he will constantly be pestering you about side quests for you to complete. You can actually skip Preston Garvey and the Minutemen story beat altogether. Instead of stopping in Concord at the Museum of Freedom, where a group of survivors pinned up, ignore their pleas for help and just keep running. You can start the main story by finding Nick Valentine. Travel southeast from Sanctuary to Diamond City, and you will eventually begin the quest Unlikely Valentine. Finding Nick will begin the story progression for the main storyline, and you won't have to worry about Preston Garvey breathing down your neck the entire game. They literally bring up that this is starting the main storyline. In an article of 15 things to do before starting the main storyline, where they were going through the most basic crap that anyone who's seen a video game could tell you.
This is
they
a 0.
didn't even do it. This is negative 1 million. This article sucks. This is the worst gamer article we have read. This is terrible. This is the worst. It's trash. I'm angry.
Oh my goodness.
Why is this so bad?
Oh, that's so great. Yeah. I had something that came to mind and then it's just gone because you entertained me by saying how much this sucks.
That's the entire article.
Yeah, that's it. That's the article. Thank you, Ritwik Mitra, for this nonsense. Oh, what I was gonna say is, I think Unlikely Valentine is exactly where this person stopped playing.
Yeah.
Like, they wandered around a little bit, went to Diamond City, saved Nick, and then turned off the game.
Yeah. It's like, they probably played a couple hours.
They got tired of Fallout 4. At that point. Oh man. Okay. Well, if those of you listening still enjoyed us critiquing that the gamer article, there are several that we've gone over in the past, but this is probably one of the worst, that if not the worst, as Sarge stated.
Yep.
But if you find any that you would like to suggest or something along those lines, we just found a whole lot more through this article or through this list. Please mention it in the comments below. Try not to link it because it'll set off the filter and I'll have to approve it and stuff. So like just say the name of the headline and I can look it up. So we're open to suggestions though. Like if it's a different journalist site, gaming journalist site that has notoriously hideous lists, please suggest those as well. Like these are fun to do, and if you guys enjoy us critiquing them and making fun of them, getting mad about them, please share. But we have our last segment after that topic, which is what are you playing and doing and watching and reading?
Oh, I'm reading.
Not all those things, but
no, I can't add reading. I'd actually take quite a lot of time in there. I've read like 3 books this past couple of weeks.
Oh wow. Yeah. Okay. Well, what are you doing, Sarge?
I moved.
Sarge moved.
Yep, that's the main thing. I had no internet for a week because moving went wrong, which is great. I also had to wait like a week before, or I had to wait 10 days before moving in after I got the keys to have the internet set up, and then the internet did not work, and I had to wait 5 days, 6 days? 6 days for the internet to be fixed.
Oof.
After that point. So yeah, I've only had the internet since Tuesday.
But now it works.
Yes, now it works. Now I'm actually moved in. I'm getting used to it. It's nice. I'm by the beach, which is actually why I've read a bunch of books, because I can just walk down to the beach with a book.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. Still, I'm getting used to it, because literally I've only been properly staying here since Tuesday. So I'm less than a week in this, I was going to say apartment, in this room. It's literally a room. I have one room.
His one room place.
Yep. Believe it or not, I am not a millionaire, so this is all I could afford. But it's an alright room. I don't have any major issues so far. Like, the biggest 2 things I was concerned about were the electric meter, because money, 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 and the shared bathroom, because, ooh, other people. But neither have been too terrible so far.
Good. That's good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But, while I have not been playing too many video games, because, as well as not having internet, I did abandon this place for a bit, because I had no internet and went back home. I have played a few games. I've actually been playing a game called Shop Titans, which is very clearly like a mobile game that's also on PC. But it's just where you run like a little fantasy shop, and you sell adventures like swords and robes and the hats and stuff like that. And I wish there were more games like that. Because this game is very mobile focused. It will pop up every time you play and be like, hey, do you want to pay some real money for some exclusive items? And I'm like, no. But just the concept of being the merchant in a fantasy world is nice. And I found it quite a relaxing and soothing game to play.
Nice. That's good.
But in terms of actual, like, proper good stuff, I've now got 2 challenge runs going on the channel.
2.
I have my Skyrim crafted items only challenge run, which has been going strong. Got over 20 episodes, got exactly 20 episodes now, I believe.
Yep.
And people are really digging that. That's doing really well. And it's nice to have a Let's Play series do as well as many of my builds have done, honestly. Because that's like a few hours work versus a few days work. So that's been great. And because the challenge run went well, and people are digging it, I was like, I'll try another challenge run. I've got Mondays and Wednesdays covered, let's make Fridays and Sundays a Fallout 4 challenge run. So I'm doing Fallout 4, Survival Mode, Power Armor only. And when I say Power Armor only, I don't mean the only armor I'm wearing is Power Armor, and then I can just pick up a gun and be like, bang, bang, bang. Way too easy. No weapons or armor that are not Power Armor. The suit of Power Armor is my weapon. It is my armor. It is my everything. I'm running up to people and punching them. That's it.
Yep. and I
Good.
want to watch it more. I bet it's stressful.
Yeah, it is. I just got done recording episode 3 and 4. Episode 4, I think, comes out a couple of hours after this PIPCAST, and episode 3 came out on Friday. And I almost die in both the episodes.
Wow.
There's at least one point in each of them where I'm fighting just super basic enemies and downing like every aid item to stay alive. Because I've only got the basic set of T45 power armor.
Yep.
And while power armor sounds great, in survival mode, it is not enough to keep you alive when you have to physically get up and punch the opponent.
Yeah, well, something you forgot to do was go northwest.
Why didn't I go northwest?
To the junkyard to get the power armor, Sarge.
You're right, I didn't go northwest of the junkyard. Here's the thing, everyone's actually telling me to go to that junkyard, so I know the exact location, because it's my next place to go to. I know exactly where that is.
Yeah.
So reading about the article. It's also a case of I've not started the main story yet, but I have, like, been to several locations, I've been to the diner, I've got myself power armor, like, I've done a bunch of stuff that it said in that article, but I've also done more, and some interesting stuff, because it's really not that hard to do just some things before you start the main story in Fallout 4.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's been a fun little challenge run. I hope it does well. I know nothing's going to do as well as the Skyrim series, because Skyrim will never die.
Yep, Skyrim.
But if the Fallout 4 series does alright, I'd like to start a third challenge run, so 6 videos a week, and then I can start live streaming as well, so there'll be daily content.
Oh my god, that's so much, Sarge.
That is. But now that I've got this place, I'd like to be able to afford it. So I'm like, yeah, more content, that seems smart.
There you go. Not burning out is also smart.
It's fine. Because it's Let's Play style stuff, it's really not that bad. Like,
Yeah.
I can happily do 2 videos in a day. So doing, like, 7 uploads / streams a week combined is only, like, 4 days' work.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the thing, because people are enjoying the more Let's Play focused stuff, which is content I can get through quickly, it's much easier to deal with. It's like as much work as one scripted video would be, essentially. So, yeah.
Okay.
Nice and easy. But Caedo, what have you been getting up to?
Oh, besides trying to hide my yawn, I finally got a PS5.
Hey!
I know I talked about it last episode, that I was in the process of, getting in line digitally to be able to order one. I did manage to order one, and I got it. But before I got it, I got a delivery message on my door saying that they knocked, they didn't, and had to go pick it up at the UPS store the next day. Which was infuriating to the point to where I was in a state. I was like, this driver better not have stolen my PS5, because it happens. Like, it still happens. So I decided to take up that time by playing a little bit of the Rift Breaker. I wasn't quite at the point to where I was ready to play that game again yet though. So I kind of tapered off playing that one a bit. It's still a fun game. It's like a base builder management, exploration, lots of stuff game. Tower defense stuff. But the rest of the evening, I decided to watch The Witcher Season 2 all the way through. And I don't know why I waited so long, because it's really good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed the new monsters and the monster slaying, and the story of Ciri growing up to be a bit of a warrior. That's I don't want to spoil too much though if you haven't seen it. It was a little less something I appreciated with The Witcher, season 2 specifically, is that it was a little less gratuitous. Or maybe I'm not remembering correctly, but unlike other Netflix related shows that have like a lot of violence in them or a lot of like adult content. They just shove it in front of your face whenever the opportunity arises, whereas The Witcher kind of paces it out really, really well. And I maybe I just forgot that after watching the first season so long ago. But it's, man, season 2 has just feels like just the right amount of pacing for going from, you know, dialogue to exposition to character growth to some sort of violent act to the visions or something, spectacles, something or other. Like it seems like it progresses nicely, and I enjoyed it a lot. May watch it again when the third season gets closer, whenever that is.
Gonna be a little while.
It's gonna be a little while, yeah. But beyond that, like I watched that when I was waiting for my PS5. When my PS5 arrived, obviously this comes with Astro's Playroom as like a tech demo preloaded on it. So that was the first thing I tried out. It's like a museum that is a platformer. You go through the different eras of PlayStation's history. It's got so much nostalgia loaded in there. Those little like spaceman characters are all dressed up as different like PlayStation characters through the ages. It was pretty fun, and it was showing the capabilities of the new controller that the PlayStation 5 has, that's got like haptic feedback, weird like trigger resistance at varying degrees too, depending on what you're doing. It's very strange. Like you have to actually have it in your hands to understand what I'm saying. But it's cool. It's the trigger thing is still a bit weird. Like the other game that I've been playing lately, because I really wanted to play it, was Horizon Forbidden West, which I'm still playing through right now. And that one, imagine Aloy just prying open a door. When you go to pry open the door, the trigger resists it, as if you're trying to pry something open.
Ooh.
Yeah. So that's the best way I can put it into words, I think. And obviously, just like the PS4, this controller also has speakers in it. So like some of the sound that you're hearing like behind you and stuff comes through the controller, and it's very strange to me still. But on to like the Forbidden West game, like I've been enjoying it pretty well. I still have like a lot of the frustrations I had with the first game have kind of been ironed out. Like the character facial expressions, for example, they're not nearly as like weird and staring into the distance and janky as they were in the first game. Aloy has a personality in this one. Like I've heard her laugh several times, which is weird. But a welcome change to her actually not being just a flat character. Also, the melee got pretty well reworked. I didn't build in the melee tree very much though, because there's a stealth tree and I like stealthing. So, and assassinating things from the bushes, because there's plenty of hiding places. And from what I've played in the story so far, I feel like it's kind of just going any direction it feels like at the moment. Like you know how something is added to a game or a story that it's just like, okay, this is our next directive, this is our next goal kind of thing. And usually it's something pretty grounded in the world that can explain why you're going to get it or like what it is. This one feels like it's all over the place. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's hard for me to stay believing in like what's going on with the story, because there's a lot of like wacky sci-fi stuff and machine magic going on. Like it's not just nanomachine son, it's like beyond that. And it's difficult to digest the plot and be like, I'm in. But however, when it comes to the side stories and the characters Aloy meets in the game and stuff like that, like I found several that I'm just like, I want to know how this character's doing. I want to go talk to them. I didn't have that in the first game. But also, since this is happening in the quote-unquote Forbidden West, guess where we get to go?
Your house.
New Vegas 2. You get to see Vegas in all its dirt glory or sandy glory, and you actually get to fire up the lights again, which is pretty cool. But because it was a future apocalypse or a hyper future apocalypse, so like everything has like holograms everywhere and stuff like that. So when you turn on the lights, like everything just looks amazing, and you can see it like way far in the distance. Also, this game is gorgeous. Okay, I've geeked out about it too much. That's what I've been doing.
All right.
Do you want to do the
I'm
outro,
glad
Sarge?
you've been having fun with it. Well, everyone, thank you very much for listening to the PIPCAST 3000, episode 91. I do hope you enjoyed. As Caedo said at the top, there'll be another episode in 2 weeks' time at the same time. Which, I don't know what the time is. It's in American. I'm not going to learn American
10
time.
a.m. Pacific, Sunday.
Whatever your made-up time is. If you do want to support either of us, make sure you're subscribed to both of our channels with notifications on and just watch our content. That's genuinely the best thing you can normally do. There's a lot more of us talking on our channels, like a ridiculous amount at this point. So if you enjoy our voices, there's so much of it. If you want to be an extra special person and have the free disposable income, we also have Patreon accounts where you can financially support us, and it helps us with running the channel. I mean, if you pay for me, you're literally paying on the rent of my new place, and for Caedo, I don't know what Caedo buys. I don't live with him. It's probably something legal.
Lots of pizzas.
Pizzas. Oh, I'd love pizza. Pizza's out of my budget right now. It's too frivolous. But anyway, hope you all did enjoy, and join us again in 2 weeks' time for even more of gaming news and a brand new Fallout topic.